appreciate it. Nobody can sing that song like Lee Greenwood. Thank you very much, Lee, very much for being here. And his voice has not changed, you know? It's pretty amazing. And a special thank you to Erica, because today, America is a nation in grief, a nation in shock, and a nation in mourning. Less than 2 weeks ago, our country was robbed of one of the brightest lights of our times, a giant of his generation, and above all, a devoted husband, father, son, Christian, and patriot. Charles James Kirk was heinously murdered by a radicalized, cold-blooded monster for speaking the truth that was in his heart. He was violently killed because he spoke for freedom and justice,
Hi,
for God
Arya.
and country, for reason and for common sense. He was assassinated because he lived bravely, he led boldly, and he argued brilliantly without apology. He did what was right for our nation. And so on that terrible day, September 10th, 2025, our greatest evangelist for American liberty became immortal. He's a martyr now for American freedom. I know I speak for everyone here today when I say that none of us will ever forget Charlie Kirk, and neither now will history.
Look the crowd.
Because while Charlie has been reunited with his Creator in heaven, his voice on earth will echo through the generations, and his name will live forever in the eternal chronicle of America's greatest patriots. He will live forever. To Charlie's incredible and beautiful widow, Erica, we know the weight of this monumental loss is almost unbearable. But even in the midst of heartache, pain too great to even fathom, you have somehow found the strength, the deep faith, to be a comfort to millions and millions of people. And thank you very much, Erica. Thank you very much. Today, an entire nation wraps its loving arms around you and beautiful children. We share in your immense and overwhelming sorrow, and we vow that we will do everything we can to ensure that your children grow up in a land where their father is honored and revered as a great American hero. That's what he is. To Charlie's parents who lost their beloved son, and to the entire Kirk family, we know that no words can ever be enough to fill the void he leaves behind. That's a void that just can't be filled. But I hope the extraordinary outpouring of emotion over these past 11 days has comforted you with the knowledge that your son brought more good and love into this world in his 31 short years than most people, even very, very successful people, can bring in a lifetime. Charlie Kirk loved America with everything he had, and as we can see so clearly today, America loved Charlie Kirk. And he could always draw a big crowd. Look at this today. Look at what's gone on. This is a big crowd. Here today we have the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. We have the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Johnson. We have countless members of the United States Senate, and I'm sorry I'm not going to introduce you, but I'll be up here. They're all over the place. And likewise, the House of Representatives, they're all over this big stadium. This is not an arena, this is a stadium.
Yes, I know,
A red
right?
cabinet and
My heart
this
was
stadium
broken
packed
though.
with rafters of people. Not to mention the
He is the
one
man of
across the
faith.
street that also has tens of thousands of people.
Thank you.
And they're watching us on screen right now. And I'm
I
sorry
keep on
we couldn't
crying
get you
when
in.
Miss
If anybody
Erica
would like to give up your
speak.
seat, please walk
It
across the
broke my
street.
heart. My goodness.
But this is like an old-time
Yes, I
revival,
know
isn't it?
Jesus
An
loves
old-time
you.
revival.
Hi, how are you? Thank you, guys.
For millions of
I
Americans,
am very
especially
far
young
from
people,
Arizona, so I
it
just
is
take a
agonizing and
live
unthinkable to
in
say
from the
goodbye to a
television.
patriot whose heart still had so much to give. It's so much. Raised in the
I
suburbs
wish
of
I was
Chicago,
near in Arizona. We've been
Charlie
there
was filled with a patriotic
last
spirit
month.
from his youth, and he was an all-American in everything he did. And one of the last things he said to me is, "Please, sir, save Chicago." We're going to do that. We're going to save Chicago from horrible crime.
Look at that crowd.
In high school, he was the quarterback of the football team and the captain of
Say
the
hi.
basketball team. He
Hi
was a good
from
athlete.
South
A lot
Africa.
of people don't know that about
Wow.
Charlie. He
I
was an
think
Eagle Scout
everybody
who
all
spent his
around over
school
the
lunch
world
breaks listening to another
watching
champion for
now
liberty.
for his memorial.
Somebody that he greatly admired, Rush
Most of
Limbaugh.
the Christian faith loves Charlie.
But what was even more important
They
to
used
Charlie
two
than
arena,
politics and
two,
service was the
the
choice he
big
made in
one
the
and the
fifth grade,
other
which he
thing,
called the most
the
important
other
decision of his
arena
life, to
in
become a
the
Christian
crossroad
and a
from that,
follower
because
of his Savior,
people can fit
Jesus
in one
Christ.
arena only. So it's a lot of people.
Inspired by faith and his love of freedom, Charlie did something remarkable when he was just 18 years old. On the advice of a mentor who told him to put off going to college because he was doing so well,
Yes,
he
he
devoted
is.
his life to converting young people to the conservative cause.
I
Have him
like
come
watching
take a
him when
look.
he was debating by campuses, students, and he was very
In
brilliant. He was
2012,
so
2 days
smart.
after
He
graduating high
can
school,
answer all
and with
the
just
questions that
$1,800 in his pocket, a
everybody can
young man
ask.
from Illinois
He was so
who
smart,
no one had ever heard of
and I really like
started an
watching him
organization whose
debating
grand
with a
ambitions were
student,
captured
college, or
in its name,
any
Turning Point USA. Great
kids
name.
that wants to debate him. High school, colleges. He
I have a
loves
feeling it's
debating.
going to be bigger and better than ever
This is
before.
the
Does
biggest
that make
arena in
sense? It's going to be
Arizona.
bigger and better
It's
than
full.
ever before. Look at what's happening.
Everybody loves Charlie.
12 years ago, Charlie walked onto his first college campus, the very liberal University of Wisconsin at Madison. He set up a card table and put up a sign with 3 words: "Big government sucks." Can you believe that? That's Charlie. That day, Charlie talked to every student who approached him, most of whom were probably quite a bit older than he was. Finally, after many hours, he found the first ever Turning Point chapter leader. His first year out of high school, Charlie traveled 300 days raising money and taking his message to campuses all over the country. He lived out of his parents' basement, and they actually loved having him there. They loved Charlie. Everybody loved Charlie. And on the couches of friends and supporters, he lived off couches for 2 years, 3 years. Then
Sorry
life
guys,
started getting a little
I'm
bit
only
different.
taking
But
live
he was always
video
the
from
same.
the
For 5
television.
years, he refused to take a paycheck, but day after day, he worked from 5 a.m. in the morning till 11 p.m. in the evening, always. His staff remembers that he wore Walmart jeans and T-shirts from the Goodwill store. Remember the Goodwill store? It wasn't easy, but Charlie wasn't in it for money at all. Never has been. Money was never his thing. He was always in it for the mission. As he liked to say even back then, we have a country to save. Just what he did. He'd call me all the time, sir, we have our country to save. I said, Charlie, thanks very much for telling me that. I appreciate it. Charlie volunteered for my 2016 campaign and traveled the nation with my son, Don, Eric. I got to know him very well and saw immediately that Charlie was actually a master builder of people. It was Charlie who first started organizing young black conservatives hungry for support and leadership. It was Charlie who stood up for persecuted Christians and Jews on college campuses. It was Charlie who helped bring online censorship, free speech, and cancel culture to the fore of our political debate. He was right up there with me. It was Charlie who helped unite MAGA, and you know what MAHA is? That's right, Make America Healthy Again. And tomorrow we're going to have one of the biggest announcements, really medically, I think, in the history of our country. We're going to be doing it with Bobby and Oz and all of the professionals. I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we found an answer to autism. How about that? Autism. Tomorrow we're going to be talking in the Oval Office in the White House about autism, how it happens, so we won't let it happen anymore, and how to get at least somewhat better when you have it, so that parents can help their child, their beautiful child. That's a big one. I've been bugging everybody over there, get the answer to that. You know, 20 years ago, 1 in 10,000 were born with autism. 20 years ago, the most recent survey says 1 in 12. How bad is that? That's for young boys, baby boys, but also girls a little bit better. It's about 1 in 20. But we can't, because obviously there was something really wrong, and we think we know what that is. It's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the most important news conferences I'll ever have, and I look so forward to it. And you know who else looked forward to it? Because he knew. I tell him a little bit about what was going on. It was Charlie. He would have been front row center, believe me. We'll be missing him tomorrow. It was such a big deal for him, too. He brought together Donald Trump, Bobby Kennedy, right here in the great state of Arizona 1 year ago. Remember that? What a night, what a day that was. And it was Charlie who was among the first to speak to me about a man from Ohio by the name of J.D. Vance. Have you ever heard of him? He's done a good job. But Charlie would often call me, sometimes the night before a big event, the other side of the country. And he'd ask me and say, do you think you could come and speak at the event? The following day, right? I'd say, Charlie, I'm the President of the United States. You want me to travel 4 hours by plane? And you know, sometimes I did it. He was a very good guy. He was a very convincing guy. He didn't stop, but he would ask for things like that. Sir, could you be tomorrow in California? I said, Charlie, give me a break, please. He just wouldn't stop. And he succeeded. But I almost always went because you never wanted to let Charlie down. He worked so hard, you just didn't want to let him down. I felt guilty. He'd make me feel very guilty. As president, many people asked me for things, but Charlie was one of the few who always gave more than he took. He was a giver, much more than a taker. And no matter how big Charlie became, no one was too small for him to notice. He was good to everybody. Didn't matter. Several years ago, a fourth grader asked Charlie to appear on his podcast, which was probably only watched by the parents of that fourth grader. And Charlie, who was actually pretty hot at the time, to be honest, he agreed, and the boy asked for advice. Charlie replied, the left, I call it the radical left. I call it sometimes the radical left lunatics. But Charlie didn't say that. He called it the left. He was probably right, but I can't help it. I can't help it. So he said the left, radical left lunatics, may have all the money in the world, but they can never outwork me. I will wake up as early as I need to. About himself, I will stay up as late as I need to, and I will never stop fighting for our country. And he did this until his dying breath. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. Think of it. Wow. What a horrible moment. I was in the Oval Office when I heard they came in, and it was like a surreal experience, a terrible, terrible. I had some very big people in the Oval Office, and I was in the midst of a very important conversation for our country. Big people, the biggest. And I said, you have to leave now. When they told me that, they told me in front of a group of very powerful people. I said, you have to leave now, right now, please. Right now, you have to leave, go. By his own determination and skill, Charlie Kirk built Turning Point from his humble beginnings, the beginnings that nobody believed could ever end up something like this, into a great movement and a juggernaut of American politics. And you know, we have a massive stadium loaded up with people, but he got tremendous crowds before he had this kind of horrible news and before we had to hear what happened so terribly. He delivered more than 250 speeches a year at over 200 colleges and universities, and that was at a time when it was not really vogue to go to colleges and universities if you were a conservative. It really took great courage. And we used to talk, and I said, you know, I think they're much more conservative than we know, and he agreed, but it just wasn't something that was happening because the radical left would do very bad things, very dangerous things. But Charlie set up chapters on 2,200 campuses and spoke at more than 1,000 churches. He launched a podcast and radio show that grew to an audience of 1 million Americans a day, one of the bigger shows on radio. And Charlie didn't just bring young people into the movement. All of a sudden it started to grow by leaps and bounds. By 2024, we won more young people than any Republican candidate in the history of our country, including for the first time a majority of males under 30. Can you believe it? Remember when Republican presidential candidates would get 4%? No, we did unbelievably with young people. And he was a big, big factor. Unbelievable. But he made me work for it. Sir, you have to make a speech here, you have to make a speech there. But we did it, and we won, and our country is doing unbelievably well now. We had a country that was dead 1 year ago. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And Charlie helped us make it that. One of the great people. But through it all, the core of Charlie's message and his basic method never changed. It never really changed. He stayed the same person also. At every campus event, Charlie asked the people who disagreed with him to come forward, and instead of silencing them, he handed them a microphone and let them speak. And he convinced so many of them. It was a pretty amazing thing to watch, actually. Shortly before Charlie arrived on campus, the day he was assassinated, a staff member texted him that there were many critics and students who were opposed to his views, and rather strenuously in the crowd. And that actually made him feel good because he wanted to convince them. He understood. He really did. He understood what was right, and he was right about that. A lot of it was based on common sense, by the way. Charlie wrote back to the staff member saying, I'm not here to fight them. I want to know them and love them, and I want to reach them and try and lead them into a great way of life in our country. In a private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
Yes, my heart was broken
Charlie's
for
angry. Look at that.
Charlie's
He's angry
pass.
at me now. He wasn't interested
Thank you
in
for stopping
demonizing
by.
anyone. He was interested in persuading everyone to the ideas and principles he believed were good, right, and true. Before each appearance, he prayed these words, God, use me for your will. Always said the same thing, use me for your will.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Dave.
And that is exactly what God did. When you think, that's exactly what he did. The more success Charlie had, and he was getting more and more successful, the more dangerous his mission became. On campuses all over the country, his quest for open dialogue was met with menacing hate. There were bomb threats, pulled fire alarms, and countless rage-filled radicals who tried to shout him down. It was nasty. I used to say, Charlie, this is nasty stuff you're doing. At one event, police had to build barricades to protect students from an angry mob of thugs. Many of these people, by the way, are paid a lot of money to do this. They're agitators. They're paid agitators. Remember that? When you see they all have the same beautifully printed sign, every sign is identical, comes out of a top-level print shop. That's not the signs that are made in somebody's basement. Those are paid for by very bad people, and hopefully we're going to be finding out through the DOJ who those people are. At another college, Antifa terrorists shattered windows, threw rocks, and tried to storm the building where Charlie was speaking. It was a really bad one. Often dozens of police officers were needed to prevent left-wing violence. And the violence comes largely from the left. You don't hear that from too many people, do you? And virtually every day for years before he was murdered, Charlie received these horrible death threats. People don't know. I used to talk to him about it. He said, I got some threats. He always felt that when they actually made the threat, they were not the ones to worry about. The ones to worry about were the ones that don't make the threats. And I think you know what I mean. He knew the risk, but he and I shared a certain motto, never back down and never ever surrender. Just don't surrender, never back down. He believed in it so strongly. So strongly. And he's right. He's totally right. The radicals and their allies in the media, sometimes referred to, as my son said, the fake news media, tried to silence Charlie for a simple reason, because he was winning, and he was winning big. He was taking over college campuses, colleges that had, in theory, only very liberal, or as they like to say, progressive. I call them liberal, but they like to call themselves, because such a beautiful word, progressive. They're the opposite of progressive, if you think about it. But they were really nasty, and he would go into these colleges. All of a sudden, within 2 years, 3 years, they turned into bastions of conservatism. It was really quite amazing to see. They lied about him because they did not want you to listen to him or to learn from him, because what he was talking about and even preaching made so much sense. Everywhere he went, he won the debates, he won the hearts, he won the minds, and yes, he won the elections for people. He helped us, he helped other people. We won the biggest election in the history of our country, I believe. Charlie Kirk was without a doubt among the most influential figures in the most important election in the history of our country. The election of, that beautiful day, November 5th, 2024. Do you remember that day? It was 9 months ago. What a day that was. I mean, we had a pretty good day in the first one. And I must tell you, on the second one, we had a phenomenal day. But a lot of bad things happened. And now that's not even questioned. They cheated like dogs. But we got them back, didn't we, huh? Got them back. But we owe Charlie a profound and eternal debt of gratitude now. Just like Charlie and Erica made Turning Point hot, we are looking at a country that has the chance to attain a level like never before. Tariffs are making us rich again, richer than anybody ever thought it was possible. And the only one challenging them are people that hate our country or foreign countries that are paying a price, because they did the same thing to us for years. They took advantage of us, but we're making money, we're becoming richer and richer, and we're taking care of our people better and better when we do that, and we can take care of other countries better and better, but we're doing unbelievably well. The tariffs have really been a hold. The election was big, but the tariffs, because of the election, came in. And remember, other nations do that to us, and Charlie understood that. He saw the money. He saw what was coming into our country, and we can use that for Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all of these things that we fight so hard for, and that's exactly what's happening. The numbers are incredible. When the news finally came out on election night last November that the race was officially won, came out pretty early in the night. Charlie was live on camera. In that moment, he was overcome with emotion. I've never seen him like this. He was so happy. For a long while, he said nothing. His eyes were filled with tears, and then he buried his face in his hands, and he started crying. That wasn't the Charlie I knew, but in thinking about it, it actually was the Charlie I knew, because he had a tremendous heart. He just wanted what was good for our country, and he saw us going in such a horrible direction. Lovingly, Eric. And this was so beautiful. Erica put a MAGA hat on to cover his bowed head. I like that very much. MAGA, we love. Does everybody love MAGA? Make America great again. When Joe Biden used to get up, remember the speeches? We will stop MAGA. We will stop MAGA. You know, he could barely get the words out. We will stop. I said, can somebody inform him that MAGA means make America great again? How do you say you're going to stop it? And Charlie understood that. When Charlie finally looked up and spoke, he smiled through the watery eyes and simply said, I am humbled by God's grace. That was his statement that night. I was watching him. I was very impressed, actually. It showed he had a big heart. Every single American should take a long, hard look at the twisted soul and dark spirit of anyone who would want to kill a young man as good as Charlie. To kill anybody, but to kill a man like this, he didn't deserve this. He didn't deserve this. Our country didn't deserve this. And anyone who would make excuses for it are just out of their mind. Charlie's murder was not just an attack on one man or one movement.
Just only now,
It
or
was an
it's not
attack
yet
on our
done.
entire nation.
I lied.
Horrible attack on
That's
the
Jacob.
United States of America.
He buys
It
some
was an
Robux.
assault on our most sacred liberties and
Keeps on
God-given
spending
rights.
his
The
money
gun
for
was
Robux,
pointed at
Robux.
him, but the bullet was aimed at all of
I
us.
told him
That
to give
bullet
it
was
to
aimed
you.
at every one of us. Indeed,
He's
Charlie
afraid
was
to
killed
give it
for
to you.
expressing the very ideas that virtually everyone in this
He said,
arena
no,
and
I'm not gonna
most
give that to
other
daddy.
places
I'm
throughout
gonna
our
give it to
country
you.
deeply believed in.
So
But
why?
the assassins
Because
and
I know
others,
daddy don't
especially
want
because
me to
Charlie's
spend
message
money.
has not been silenced, it now is bigger and better and stronger than ever before. and it's not even close.
Look at that. It's full.
It's rare that such a
And then
thing
two
happens, but Charlie is
stadium.
bigger today than he was.
The other one too.
Think about it.
It's full.
Just 2 weeks ago.
Then
He's
there's a
bigger
lot
today
in
than
the
he was 2
street
weeks ago. Now,
watching
that may
the
not help his
television. You know,
friends
they
and
put
loved ones, of which there are so many. It may not help Erica and those beautiful children who have to suffer so horribly through this moment.
Did you hear that Erica said, I keep on crying here when she speak. She said she forgive the young man who killed Charlie. But she cried because she said that's what God wants, to forgive.
And it's a great crowd of patriots. But that's why I will soon award Charlie the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's the highest civilian honor.
Wow. Oh, that's why. That's today, right? He's going to give that.
Now they do a ceremony.
The ceremony at our beautiful White House in a very safe
They'll have her at the White House.
Oh, it's in the White House.
A place that Charlie truly revered. Yeah, we stopped the crime in Washington. Took 12 days. Now you can go to restaurants. You can walk down the middle of the street with your wife. You can have your wife walk alone down the middle of the street.
It's safe now in Washington, D.C. when we go there, Daddy. We can walk before we are scared to walk around D.C.
So proud of that. Washington,
especially at night time.
the nation in the world. And now it's considered a very safe city.
I think most of the restaurant was open before, almost all closed because no one go inside.
The threats are gone. The gangs aren't there. We got rid of, we took out 1,500 career criminals. 1,500. If you have 3 career criminals, that can make a big difference. But I'm so proud of Washington, D.C., and now we're going into Memphis. And we'll get that one straightened out fast. And then we're going into some others, but we're going to go to Chicago, and we're going to have Charlie very much in mind when we go into Chicago. And we'll get that one straightened out. You have an incompetent governor who...
Yeah, that's what Charlie wants, to save Chicago.
He thinks you don't have any crime when 11 people get murdered and 28 people get shot. He says he's got crime. No, they don't have it under control, but we'll have it under control.
I did not show the father of Charlie there.
And Charlie loved what we were doing. He was so proud of what happened. He was there to see it. He was so proud of what happened in Washington, D.C. As you know, the depraved assassin who planned and executed Charlie's killing has been arrested and charged with capital murder. God willing, he will receive the full and ultimate punishment for his horrific crime. It's a terrible thing.
I think he's facing death penalty.
Can't let it happen to a country. The Department of Justice is also investigating networks of radical left maniacs who fund, organize, fuel, and perpetrate political violence. And we think we know who many of them are. But law enforcement can only be the beginning of our response to Charlie's murder. Over the last 11 days, we have heard stories of commentators, influencers, and others in our society who greeted his assassination with sick approval, excuses, or even jubilation. You've heard that, so have I. Couldn't believe it.
Who's that?
Some of the very same people who spent the last 8 years
The one
trying
who
to
threat
sit in moral judgment.
jubilation.
Anyone who disagreed with them about politics suddenly started cheering for murder. Incredible. You know the names. They're major losers, by the way. That will be proven out in a short period of time. Some of the very people who call you a hater for using the wrong pronoun were filled with glee at the killing
Daddy,
of a father.
I take a live by the live there in the television. I hope they're not going to let me copyright. I take a live from live television.
Last week we're implying that Charlie Kirk deserved what happened to him. No side in American politics has a monopoly on disturbed or misguided people. But there's one part of our political community which believes they have a monopoly on truth, goodness, and virtue, and concludes they have also a monopoly on power, thought, and speech. Well, that's not happening anymore.
Did you
We've
see
turned
that
corner very quickly.
around that
Tragically,
honey
atrocities
bulletproof?
of this kind that we saw in Utah of all
Huh?
places are
Inch and a half thick. Look like.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do when they're going to start having a turning point thing. They're gonna have a bulletproof. Now, from now on, it's not easy to thing because
that Charlie practiced is not a pillar of our democracy. In many ways, it's the basis of our entire society. It's the right and inheritance of every free American, the greatest legacy of the Enlightenment, and among the most treasured achievements
I'll take a
of
video so that
civilization.
maybe soon Jacob can watch this and, you know, start reading.
So proud, and he did hold that torch high. We will never ever let it fail. We will never let it fail.
Did you hear that what J.D. Vance say was very powerful? Marco Rubio and Kirtk said so.
Nah, I was watching the football games in Western.
It's done?
Nah, there's a football game on, but
Are you
it's not
still?
close. The other team's winning. Cowboys are getting teeth by Chicago.
Huh?
By Chicago, I think it is.
Oh, really?
Borders, law and order, and religion, you really don't have a country anymore. We want
24-14 or
religion brought
27-14.
back to America. We
How
want
your
to bring
feet
God
feeling?
back into our beautiful
Huh?
How your
USA
feet?
like never before. We
You
want
feel?
God back.
That's good.
Charlie would have been so pleased to hear his friends and colleagues today giving testimony and
There are
giving glory to God.
a lot of, you know, the FBI director was there.
Gunshot in Utah, millions of Americans, young and old, heard the news and dropped to their knees.
Elon Musk was there.
Even many
Huh?
who really
Elon Musk
prayed,
was
asked
there.
God for a miracle. Please, God, save Charlie.
Well,
He
maybe
was-
him and Trump can get back together.
I hope so, because of this happening. Remember a lot of threats for Elon Musk too?
Look at what's happening. In the days since
But
Charlie's
if I was
death,
Musk, I wouldn't go
see
back
how
because it's
his
just like his
legacy has
business
touched
again.
so many millions
He's
around the world.
cutting out half the
In
population.
Calgary,
Mhm.
Canada,
I'd be
thousands
neutral if I
gathered
was
in the
him.
City Hall
Yeah.
to sing the
Although he's got
American
plenty of
national
money
anthem and
and
raise
doesn't
up
need anymore,
posters
but anyway.
with the name
You know, I can understand him being neutral, Mom. You know, like buying houses, more houses. I can understand.
We are for Charlie Kirk. His memory has been
I'll get
honored
it.
in
You
the
get another
streets of
house
Berlin,
next Friday or
Warsaw,
Monday.
Vienna, Sydney, Madrid, London, Tel Aviv, and
Ownership.
all over the world.
But I'm pretty sure that houses was gonna paid off. Here I am. You see that? That's what last word of Charlie. Here I am. Here I am, Lord. Use me.
For the first time ever.
That's what Charlie. Here I am, Lord. Use me.
Because of Charlie Kirk. Can you imagine? The lesson of Charlie's life is that you should never underestimate what one person can do with a good heart, a righteous cause, a cheerful spirit, and the will
It's
to
amazing
fight,
how he can
fight,
talk.
fight.
Yeah.
Not make mistakes.
It's unbelievable, right?
You know,
How he can speak and
We're saving our country,
keep on going.
and Charlie's a big factor, such a big factor.
I think
Charlie
some of the
Kirk
people are
started
leaving, aren't they?
only an idea
yeah,
to
yeah,
change
the people
lives,
there, it's
but
been whole day since early morning.
Yeah.
Start the line.
far greater achievement,
And the
changing
people there was
history.
only there
Changed history.
eating.
Today, Charlie Kirk rests in
That's good.
glory in heaven.
Let's go ask the it cost to go to that.
A lot of security thing outside around.
Kneeling at the throne of God,
Yeah.
where he is right now.
Close the door.
We grieve.
What?
I heard you.
What?
I heard you. That you said,
But we go forward strengthened by his faith and bolstered by his courage and inspired by his example
What
to
did I say?
defend the country he
Huh?
lived for.
Oh,
The
wait,
freedoms
he
he
asked
died
the
for,
money.
the values in which he so deeply
They give
believed.
to
He
daddy.
believed in values that we
Give
should
to
all
daddy.
believe in.
He knows it.
Charlie created something very
Yeah.
special. It's called Turning Point USA. And under the leadership and love of Erica, it will become bigger and better and stronger than ever before. So, Charlie, we all want to thank you. We want to say a very loud God bless you, Charlie. God bless you for what you've done. Is incredible. And God bless Erica and the children. God bless the United States of America. And could I ask Erica, please come out. Erica, please come out. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, and good luck. God be with you. Thank you.
He's so hurt. Thank you. Oh, she's so pretty. America. Oh, so sweet. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye. Turning point.